If anyone were to ask me which of the Rainworld Soundbar slugcats is the strongest, without hesitation I would say the Gourmand. At first glance, he may look like a skug of simple principles, his rotund stature giving him a not-so-threatening look. But don't be mistaken, or you shall end up like all the other poor souls who made the same mistake. Their bodies completely unrecognizable, their screams of horror haunting the ones who took testimony to the atrocities, repeating themselves non-stop like a broken record. Basically, he's a fat fuck. He's technically the strongest skug, dealing triple damage, being able to ground pound, roll infinitely, and headbutt, getting fatigued after too much motion as a way of balancing. Although his physical strength is what usually ends up getting talked about the most, when discussing the Gourmand, I think the factor which sets the debate are his item mechanics. He can craft by fusing two items together, turning into a new one. He can vomit random items from his stomach at the cost of food pips and make meals by fusing two items. Yes, you heard that right. This guy can cook. But how much can he actually cook? Ladies and gentlemen, today I intend on measuring the true extent of the Gourmand's cooking abilities by making him participate in the most brutal, most unforgiving, treacherous cooking competition, MasterChef. Except, there's a twist. Gourmand won't be cooking against some random Joe. That's lame, dog. No, his opponent will be the one and only Gordon Ramsay.
Where's the lamb sauce?
The host of American MasterChef. Alright, buttercups, you know the drill. It's power scaling time.
No, oh my god, young man, kill yourself!
First, let's start by talking about the man himself, Gordon Ramsay. What makes this guy such a strong opponent is his huge amount of experience in elite restaurants and culinary training. Gordon trained with some of the greatest chefs such as Albert Roux and Guy Savoy, which gives him a perfect understanding of classical techniques such as sauces, butchery, etc. and the ability to cook to French fine dining standards. On top of that, he spent years working in Michelin-star kitchens, where services work extremely fast, giving him unreal speed and precision stats. Now, let's move on to Fanny. Gourmand the Destroyer, supreme leader of the underworld, the gluttonous beast. There are a few things to discuss about this guy. Firstly, let's talk about his crafting ability. So, when I told you that this guy could craft items, I did kinda not explain the full extent of this power. You can make grenades, stinky grenades, grenades on a stick, grenades that feature time and space, creating a black hole that sucks everything in. You can even create life, which is, sure, doc. This means that Gourmet Boy here has a culinary understanding to an universal level, assuming he can literally make black holes with one flower and a bug's egg, which is beyond any culinary knowledge Gordon may have. You know when they say the dish is so good that when you taste it you actually go to heaven? Yeah, I'd reckon Gourmand could literally do that, not metaphorically. It also means that Gourmand doesn't need to get limited by not being provided X or Y ingredients, as he'd be able to turn two items into a new one. Next up, we gotta talk about his vomiting ability. My man here might as well just be built like Dharma, because the number of items you can barf out of your stomach is pretty much infinite as long as you have a constant food source. Unfortunately, I can't fucking dissect the slug cat, so we're left to assume just what is going on inside the skug. My theory is that Gourmand's stomach can turn the food bolus he consumes into a random real-life item and he's able to store these items in a separate compartment in his belly. Dude, what the fuck am I even doing with my life? Well, it's either that or Gourmand can just create matter from nowhere, which means he could probably just create dishes inside his stomach and just barf them out. Though I feel like that's a bit speculative, so I won't take this ability too much into consideration. Finally, time to talk about the main dish, pun intended, his meal-making abilities. Now, the game refers to these as quote-unquote meals, so I'll just assume they're referring to an actual real-life dish. Now that I think about it, I wonder if he could beat Chef from Risk of Rain. Anyways, back to the point. In-game, you only need two items to cook meals, which means the Gourmand can cook insanely quickly without any preparation needed. Now, the quality of these foods might be, that of dubious, but in MasterChef, it's common for participants of foreign nationalities and cultures to cook traditional food from their culture, and I don't think I'd classify myself as, racist towards slugcat or something. So whatever is the weird concoction Gourmet Boy makes, it shall be allowed. Now that that's done, let's get to it. BAM! on my left, we have the Dinner Goliath, the Supreme Eater, the Breakfast Behemoth coming straight from Outer Expanse, the most rotund of the West, Gourmand. And now on my left, the True Sauce Seeker, the Culinary Master, the Idiot Sandwich of Fire, Gordon Ramsay. Gourmand, tell me a bit about yourself. Why are you participating? As for you, Gordon, this is a YouTube video, you're not even here, so who cares? Let's get started. In MasterChef, there's a lot of culinary challenge which the contestants must win in order to get qualified. We'll be discussing who would win each challenge to determine the winner. The MasterChef challenge I've selected are Mystery Box, where each contestant is given a random set of ingredients to cook with, Invention Test, where contestants have to create an original dish around a theme, Pressure Test, in which you have to replicate a difficult dish demonstrated by the judges, and the Technique Test, where contestants must demonstrate specific cooking techniques. The first challenge, where we can decide who would win right off the bat without any analysis, is the Technique Test. In Rain World, Gourmand doesn't even use utensils to eat. So how is he even supposed to know how to use a knife and use it better than Ramsay? Yeah, that's right, but I'm gonna have to give this one to Ramsay. However, I'd argue that for Mystery Box, it would be quite the contrary. We've already discussed that Gourmand isn't limited by not having the desired ingredients he wants due to his ability to craft, so the entire deal with this challenge kinda goes off the window. On top of that, the Gourmand has been around, okay? This guy knows his shit. He's tasted every delicacy that the Rain World has to offer. Therefore, he knows what would go well and what wouldn't. And the cherry on top for me is that this is kind of just an average Tuesday for Gourmand. There is one main difference between Gordon and Gourmand, which is the fact that Gordon learned how to cook in our modern society with everything already provided to him, while Gourmand has learned culinary in the world of Rain World, where every meal he makes is literally already improvised with ingredients he finds, and no amount of experience can beat the raw spirit of survivability. Gourmand takes this one. Now, talking about the pressure test, if I were to demonstrate a super complex dish, who could replicate it more accurately? So, Gourmand is able to create life. I've said this before, he can turn one bat nib and a bubbleweed into a hazer. That is insane. That is literally billions of years of evolution in 1 second. To make a squid, you need insanely precise DNA structures, and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know, man, I'm not in biology. If you want to talk about this, let it be down in the comments. If Gourmand knows how to make a genuine life form with insanely complex and precise DNA structure, a genuine life form with insanely complex and precise DNA structures, then he'd have no problem recreating one random dish I decide to show him. Gourmand's also winning this one. Now, on to our final challenge, the Invention Test. Now, I'm actually not sure who would win this. On one side, considering the ingredients Gourmand uses to make meals in game, I think he'd make the more creative dish, which is one of the main things that get judged in this test. But on the other hand, I feel like Gordon can make a pretty creative dish that tastes maybe even better. It's kind of unclear to determine which dish would taste better due to me having never tried the slime mold or the gooey ducks from Rain World, so I'll just give this round to both contestants. Now that we're done, I'm gonna be giving the grand prize of fuck all to the Gourmand. Congratulations, you are now the superior cook. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Cool, yeah, I don't really know how to make outros, but yeah, subscribe or something, I don't know, bye.